Are you an optimist or a pessimist? Your basic outlook on life has a significant impact upon your mental health and therefore becomes an issue we need to consider. Dr. Bill Baker is here to talk about how we can grow in optimism. And yes, we want to be positive. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here, Linda.
Thank you. So how does our outlook on life affect our mental health?
Well, you were correct. Research indicates that our personal outlook on life does have a significant positive or negative impact on our mental health. An optimist is someone who has positive expectations for his future, and he chooses to interpret current events as good news in as much as possible. In contrast, the pessimist chooses to view things as bad news and engages in negative self-talk such as, "It's all my fault, I'm to blame, my bad situation will continue to get worse and worse, and it's going to affect every part of my life in a negative way." Now, pessimism obviously can create negative emotions that feed depression and anxiety. In contrast, optimism is a key component to healthy thinking and healthy moods.
And you said healthy.
Yes,
so that's important.
healthy.
So is there any way, or how can you change your outlook?
Well, changing from pessimism to optimism, hopefully that's the direction we would prefer to change,
absolutely,
is sometimes a challenging and difficult process. One tool I like to use is my Optimism coin, which I keep in my special little case. Actually, Linda, it's a 1941 half-dollar, but I think of this as my Optimism coin, which anyone could use, have a coin of their own. As we know, money coins have two sides. There's an upside, a heads, and a downside, which is tails. Now, in life, coins are like that, the coins of life. That is, for everything, there is an upside, there's a downside. Now, the pessimist chooses to look only at the downside, the negatives. He sees the problems, but not the solutions. Now, the optimist sees the negatives. He sees the problems, the downsides in life, but he also sees the positives, the solutions. Now, this transformation takes time, but we need to train ourselves to look at both sides, not just the negatives, the downsides in life, but also the upsides, the positives.
How can we grow in optimism?
Well, the process, I think, begins, Linda, with a clear choice. Commit to optimism. Then secondly, take that commitment and put it into practice. That is, we start actively looking for and searching for positive things. We combine these positive things in our minds, or perhaps better yet, write them down in an optimism log so that they can build on one another. And then thirdly, we have to combat the negatives. We stay alert for the old pessimism that tends to rear its ugly head, and when we see it, we try to transform it as best we can into positive things. I remember a little poem, two men looked out through prison bars, the one saw mud, the other stars. Now, we need to see the mud in life, lest we step in some or whatever, but we need to also see the stars. The pessimist sees only the mud. Thankfully, optimism means that we can see the mud in life, but we can also see the stars.
Absolutely. We thank you so much for helping us to think healthy.
Glad to be here.
Certainly.